Hi, this is Jonna, the Preppy Crafty Girl, and I'm here with another set, new set this time, of just a mixture of different kits. And I'm going to start out with this kind of bohemian, they call it gypsy, and a lot of this stuff's from the 60s and the 70s, so I just kind of want to share this kit with you. So I'm going to start out with my inspiration, which was a model that came out of a 1964 counter book for patterns. And actually, look how adorable this is. You can take a round tablecloth, and then they turned it into these dresses. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. It was their Jiffy. Angel sleeved, super jiffy. So anyway, so you can use, either side, but this was the inspiration. And then I had this wrapping paper. So I just loved the little different stitches, and I felt like the colors went just perfectly. And then I had a pattern that had kind of this little bit of a bohemian feel to it, and then it had the aqua, the pink, and the browns, which is kind of what I'm going for, these like mustardy, browny, pinky tones. So I'm adding that in, and I have this length of sari silk that I'm adding in this really pretty mustard tone. Then I don't add too much scrapbook paper into my kits. I try to keep them pretty much all vintage, but I had these and I thought this is actually a basic gray line, and I just thought it is just so beautifully, goes perfect. Look at this. This is incredible. This is just gorgeous. And then I had these two, I don't know who made these papers. Oh, they were by Design Originals, and they're already collaged for you. But I thought the tones and the peacock was kind of cool. And look at her. I thought she was really pretty. And so I'm adding these into the kit. Then I pulled this girl out. I love her with her wrapped and her little mini skirt, and she was the right colorway, and I think she's gonna go really nicely in this kit. I found I could not believe this when I found this in the book, but it's the Song of the Gypsy, and so I'm adding that in. I'm adding some just different pink and tan tones. These are like stock certificates, I guess, from a game. And then I had this pink and white card. Then I'm adding in, I found this in Spanish, gypsy flashcard. So I was like, what? And then I'm adding in these wallpapers in the tan, pink, little bit of that mustardy yellow in there. And then I had some of this fabric. It's a little bit torn and tatted, but you could use this. I'm thinking on a spine of a journal would be beautiful, and they have like the mirror details, and this is kind of a gauzy type of a fabric that it's on. And then I had this piece. It's just kind of an offcut of a larger piece that I had, but I thought the paisley and the mirror, this would be really pretty. You could even use this on the spine of a book, or just on the cover of the book would be really pretty too. And then I also am adding in, this has a little more of the mustard rust. I loved the gray picture frame. I just had a little bit. All this wallpaper is from a 1956 book that I have of wallpapers. I had this label. This was a tag from a basic gray, so, but I thought the colors were, oh, look at this. Then I had these, and this came from a book that I got from Australia on fashion, so I thought they were so cute, these ladies. I have a couple of old, for 1974 wine labels, some pink file for the typewriter. You put them in your typewriter, they're file folder labels. This is a French to English to French dictionary page. Of course, you might want to cut out the gynecologist there, but it has the word gypsy on it, so that's why I kept it. And haberdashery, thought that was kind of cool. So this is from an really old game. I am not really sure what the name of the game was. I can't remember because I bought it so long ago, but I know her name is Gertie Giggle, and so I put her in there. So I thought she was really cute. Plus kind of went with the colors. This is a postcard in those autumnal colors. Oh, this is an old index card, but I thought I have these antique, they were booksetter stamps, like for when they used to print out the children's reader books. And so I had this one, which was the index, and I thought that would be kind of cool. So I stamped it on there with Distress Oxide ink, so it's not water, you know, don't put anything liquidy or water on it or it will smudge. And to go with that peacock theme, this is a vintage card with a peacock with its plumes. I believe this came from Busch Gardens, because I have somebody's family photos from Busch Gardens, and this was in there, so I thought that was really cool. And then I also have this picture of the woods, you know. And then there's some, this really pretty patinaed notebook paper. This is all natural. None of this is tea dyed, tea stained, or anything, or coffee stained, which I don't have any issue with that, but everything I have is just naturally just this really pretty, already looks tea stained. These are some offcuts of this wallpaper, which has a little tear in it. So I just want to let people know that when you buy these kits, they're old. Some pieces are antique, some pieces are vintage, but super old. So, because like I said, this is from 1956. So you would want to probably, this would be good for collage. I don't know that I would use it. When you go to fold it, it will crack. So I just want you to know that you will want to like Mod Podge it or something like that down onto a piece of paper or whatever you're going to use it for. So this also, okay, so this is so funny. So I'm kind of looking through these magazines I have from the 1960s, and they had this one on Cushion Your Room with Pillows, and I just thought that this was the coolest. These were, oh here, wait. It went like that. Okay. But can you just see people just lounging in this, like, back then, just whatever they were doing, smoking, hanging out, listening to the mamas and the papas. And so anyway, I just thought that was really cool. And I thought, where's the next one? I thought this was really neat too, was this sunken kind of living room with the shag carpet and the leopard print pillows. This was probably rainbow. I guarantee you that was probably rainbow, probably orange, yellow, red, and brown. And then they had this stereo hi-fi, and I couldn't read the record. So, but I just thought this was kind of really cool setting. I thought you could collage with it or whatever. That was really neat. And then I'm adding in these two pieces of upholstery fabric from an upholstery sample book. They will have some holes in them, and there is going to be paper on the back because they came from a sample book. This one also, you might want to try to soak that off a little bit, but I thought these colors, like, oh my goodness, was, yeah, so perfect. So this is the boho kit. And oh yeah, I forgot, I added in, I have this Prima flower, and they're all wired on here, but look how pretty. Oh, it just went. I was like, okay, I'm gonna toss that in. And then I have this little pack of, now these are newer, and so I just want to let you know that I'm just tossing these in because I felt like it went. So you've got the greens, the blues, the rose tones, and then you'll have some different color brads in the same colors. There's this kind of rivet, some bigger brads, and then these are 7-2, like 1972-ish. This could be like, ooh, September 1972, or September of, you could just make it up. So, and then there's this little flower bead too in there. So yeah, so this is going to be the boho journal kit, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna say. This will be number 1. Okay, so this is kit number 12 going into the shop. It's actually the second in this series. However, I'm just going to name it 12 so there's no confusion. And this is my artist creative kit. And I'm so excited about this kit. I just think it's like the coolest mix and blend of different things. And so I'm just gonna start showing you. So what started the whole thing was I found this draw, and then I had this little girl painting a chair. So if you're a big chalk painter, this is perfect. This is just from a little golden book, I think, or a reader or something. I'm not really sure, I forgot. Then this is just a card, a greeting card, but it has a pair of blue eyes by Lilla Cabot Perry. So it's like an oil painting on there. And then you get this pattern. I don't know if all the parts are in there. It's old. It's probably from the 1972. But I love her. She is in a apron and then, or smock, and then she's biting on the end of her paintbrush. So that's why I picked this one to add in there. And I picked up a couple of these books called The Society of Artists. This is from 1942. This is the original book, not a copy. And I picked it up while I was in Australia, and so at an antique shop, and I am putting this in the kit. It's pretty amazing book. I'm not going to do a flip through because some of these books may have things that are kind of, revealing to the body. So yeah, I'm not going to do a flip through of the total book, but all the pages are there. It's in, 1942. It's kind of worn and torn. This is how they did the covers, which I thought was really interesting. And again, it is torn. So, I just had to include it. It's just, these books are awesome. And I figure if you're an artist, you'll love looking through it. I don't know what happened to this book, but somehow I have the cover to it. So I don't know if I took the cover off or what the dealio was, but maybe to use in my art. I don't know. But anyway, I found it in my stuff, so I just thought it was kind of cool. And yeah, so I'm just going ahead and including this. The other thing I wanted to say, and I will say this at the end of all the videos, I'm going to have a special clip that talks about these kits, but things are going to be folded to go in a priority mail envelope. So I packaged it pretty neatly, but I'm trying to keep the cost of the kits kind of down. So I am folding things that are larger that don't fit in there. And I figure if you need to, you can unfold it, and you can always iron it if you know, or you're that picky. So, or not picky, but particular. Okay, then I have this where two little kids are painting and sanding and doing crafts. And I turned it into a little note pad for you. So this was out of a Betty Crocker box of recipes, and somehow they have a painting one. So I thought that was kind of cool, so I just put it in there. These are stamped index cards that I stamped with Distress Oxide. They are stamps that I have this really neat collection of wood-handled stamps that they're super, super old. They're back in the day when they used to stamp out like children's reading books and things like that. So yeah, so I just pulled a couple and I went ahead and stamped them on the index cards. This is from a children's songbook. It said, "I like to paint." I thought that was neat. This is a Spanish flashcard that says "to create." I have these two little blue pencils, colored pencils. They're buttons. This is a cover of a Betsy McCall coloring book that I have, and I just kept it because if you like to do coloring books, or she has a paintbrush in her hand, so I thought that was kind of cool. And I have a few playing cards here with some artwork on them. Oh, these are on Leash and Promenade. So I thought these were kind of cool to add in there. And then I had just this piece of this random piece of old wrapping paper, but because it was splashed paint, I thought that was pretty awesome. So I'm including that. This came out of the Betsy McCall. Here she's playing field hockey, and I almost kept this because I used to play field hockey in school, but I gave it up because it has paint and this, and whoever's book this was, her name was Lori H. And so she signed a lot of her pages that she did, and I thought this was kind of cute, you know. So you can finish it for her or just leave it as is. This is a man painting. This is out of a children's reader. This is from a 1960s Good Housekeeping, I believe it was, or Family Circle, I'm not really sure. But it's an article on this, drawing droodles. And I thought this was pretty interesting article, so I was giving it a read. And so I wanted to kind of include it. This is a bearded lady under the hair dryer. Woman while mopping floor frightened by a mouse. So she's like in it. Cowgirl washing her hair in a 10-gallon hat. 10-year-old reading a ghost story. So they're like up. Anyway, I thought this was kind of interesting, especially if you like to sketch. I thought that would be kind of fun to read. I just did this in case you want a collage. It says, "When you dream in color." I think it was a hair coloring ad. And so it's pretty worn. This is from a 1960s Life magazine. The page is pretty big, but I just thought it was kind of neat to add to your artwork. And of course, you have to get in here, you know, a Papermate pen. What wouldn't be greater than I wish this pen, they still made this pen, wood grain or tortoiseshell. I would so buy it. And here is this is from 2004. I just happen to have it in my stuff. And he's adding gilding. He's painting with the paintbrush in his pocket, and he's smoking a pipe while he's doing it, which I believe gilt is flammable, but anyway. Okay, so there's that one. This is from a game card, but it had draw on it, and I thought that was kind of neat, so I included it. This is from a children's reader. No, it was a children's book about water, and I thought it was kind of cool because it had the paintbrush in the water. Look how cute this is. He's painting a stripe on the skunk. Oh, I thought that was so cute. So I'm adding that in. And this little girl, this was from a 1950s kindergarten arts and crafts book. So I added this in. This is drawing people, and then here she is doing a scribble drawing. And then I added in this really kind of Monet-esque watery color background of a piece of fabric. So that is the artist kit, and this is kit number 12. And here we're on kit number 13. This is the third one in this series, and this I'm calling the Red Black Book Club, or back to school, whatever you want to call it, or you don't even have to use it that way if you don't want to. However, because there's just such a eclectic mix, it's in the family of red, blacks, grays with a little bit of green thrown in as an accent. So I'm just going to get started. I'm going to start with a piece of this 1930s lovely page out of a ledger. And then we've got this little cutest little card. You could even send it to somebody if you want. And it's not really in the colorway other than it had some gray and a little bit of green, but I just loved it because she's laying in bed. She's not feeling good, but she's got her book open with a little flower in it and her tea all poured and her puppy at her feet. And I just thought this, and one little curler on the top of her head. So I just thought that was the cutest little illustration. So I tossed it in here because it had the book set up if you're one that likes to read books while you're in bed. And actually, you could take this card and you could use this kit and make yourself a junk journal by punching 2 holes in it and adding in papers. That would be adorable. This is probably a 6 size, maybe wide and then short. So it's probably like 3 by 5. So anyway, I just thought I would share that little idea. This is a book plate that I have from Italy when I went. It actually says that says Italy on there. And I picked up a bunch of book plates, and I thought this one was really cute because it had a stack of books. So I'm going to share that with you guys. I'm really pulling stuff from my own stash. This is an old, I don't know, some kind of game card, and it's called Gertie Giggle, but she has her arms around a bunch of books. This is a game card, and it said bookmark here. That's why I kept it. Then I've got 3 other game cards that are all just black and red and black and white. So that just kind of went with the colorway. These make really nice like tuck spots if you adhere it in here and here, or you could do I had a friend send me a little booklet where she put hole punched and then she did little quotes on there and decorated the front. So they're nice. They make nice bases for artist trading cards, and you could use these as a base and just use whatever leftovers you have from making a junk journal and do some artist trading cards with these if you don't want to actually use these in your book. But I like to add them to my book. Okay, this is the sweetest little vintage photo of this girl, and she's reading, and she's in this little love seat with the skirt and the fringe on the bottom. You can see the bed in the background. And so I wanted to add that in. She has her little horn-rimmed glasses on. Someone took a photo of that. And again, I stamped this with Distress Oxide using my antique set of book stamps. I've got some wallpaper samples out of my 1950s wallpaper book that I am sharing. Yes, so that's all in that same colorway. I have an ad for this little girl reading, and it says the Book Nook, and it says treat yourself to a good book. So if you're doing like a book club, I know that the Reset Girl is doing a book club, and this is the perfect kit to journal to add to your journaling that when you're doing your book club. This is from a children's reader. I just thought this was neat. It had words for phrases. Of course, it's a reader, so I'm adding that in. This is one of those inserts out of a Life magazine, and I love the wood grain. You could just punch right here and here the wood grain. You could use this as a journaling spot. I love that it had the Literary Guild of America, and you know, and then it had, of course, some books here. Look at Amy Vanderbilt's Complete Book of Etiquette, which I have read. And of course, here's some of that writing paper. This is from a stamp collecting book from a, I don't know, gas station or something. But I loved it because they were all sitting around reading a book, looking at the book. And this came out of a 1960s magazine, and I love using these. I love using this as a journaling spot, and you know, you can fold it because it is what do you call that, creased right here, and you could do a little flip out or whatever, and you could put your picture here, or you know, put your picture here over that picture, however you want to use it. But I love using those cards. And here is a really pretty made in Italy button. Here are some book ads. I love this. This just reminds me of stepping into like the Partridge Family, or maybe Mike's office from the Brady Bunch. It's all, you know, set up, and it has the books on it, so I just wanted to add that. I love that ad. And I love this. You could use this as a border on your page, you know, like a washi strip or something. It's really neat. I'm not really sure why he has a black eye, but okay. The shocking truth about parents of poor students. I'm not really sure, but oh my gosh. Okay, if you don't want to use this, if you want to use this and you don't want to use that, this is really cute, the lips. Okay. This is a Spanish flashcard for book, and some fasteners, and I use these several times. I like to journal on the back, or you could put a photo here. You can punch and put a photo here. Or you could stitch around and make this like a pocket or a tuck spot. And of course, I have to add this little girl in from my 1960s pattern counter book. She has her little book, and she's so happy. And I had this flashcard that says, even though it's a girl, it says child and book on it. Also, you can put typist, or, you know, whatever, if you do any of these things. Tour, art. So, adding that in. I'll get to this stack over here, a little envelope, specialty of the house. This is cute. You could keep, you know, your books here, like a book list going. These are just 3 random odd. I did not tea stain these. This is actual coloring that it had. This is engineer graph paper, which I think is phenomenal. Look at it. So you have that side and you have that side. Just so cool. And then a Yahtzee game, because it was the right colorway, but I love adding those. And then I had these, I don't know where I got them, but I've had them. And you know, and I'm gonna put it over this so that you can see it. But you know, the first letter in books, I forgot what that's called. There is a specific name for it. This is like that, and that's why I added it. These are transparencies, and you have the whole alphabet plus 4 blanks. So I put that in there because I just, with it being black and being like those, the first letters on a book, like at the beginning of the paragraph or the beginning of the chapter, I just think that's really cool. These are a decorator fabric, so of course they're going to have a hole in them. Some of them may have a strip of paper here because they do come out of a book, but this again is that green, beige, red, and black colorway. So you will get those 2 pieces. And then I just pulled these. These are from notepads, like old notepads that I've had, but because they were black and the white, I pulled those 4. And then look at her reading her magazines with her feet up on the couch and just laying there. And yeah, so I thought that was really neat. I would love to have that planter right there. That's really cool. Okay, so this again is going to be in my shop. I've got, I think, 18 different kits going in this time. Each one, of course, is different. I may have like 2 or 3 that are the same kind of colorway, not as this, but I think I have like 2 pinks going in and 3 purple ones, but every single kit has something different in it. Even though the colorway may be the same, it's going to have different items because it all is one of a kind. Maybe 2 or 3 of a kind, or maybe I'll have like the same flashcard, but it'll have different words on it. So yeah, so on to the next kit. Okay, this next kit is what I'm calling Beautiful Bride. So whether you want to get it for a gift for a bride, I think it would be perfect, or you want to make a junk journal and you want to journal your day as a bride, or use the bits and pieces in making up maybe the guest book, or decorating, or whatever. So this is just an eclectic mix of what I felt made up a really cool kit for a bridal occasion. So I'll get started. I have this antique, look at this crocheted. It is phenomenal. I only have one, but how sweet would this be? You could make like a little mini book and you could slide it in the glove and you could decorate the glove. I mean, this is so delicate and so intricate, and they even crocheted this tiny little round button. So I just cannot believe the detail of the work. This is just gorgeous. I wish I had had the second one, but I just found the one and I had to put it in here. There is a little where it's giving away and has a little tear, but it's super, super old and very delicate. I added in some buttons on a card, which are really pretty. A Spanish card that says "to marry, to get married." This somebody's wedding cake that I got a box of photos and there was this beautiful wedding cake in it. So I love the patina. It's just so cool to have this old wedding cake. There are some game cards. This is, look at her, she's so cute with the bunnies and the turtles. And I know I've used this one, but I put in the 2. So if you want to use, the 2 become 1. And this one is either you can use the Romeo or you could use Sparkle. This is a bridal luncheon card invitation. You could use it as a photo mat. You could also make this the cover of a little small junk journal. These are some ads from the 1984 for Nancy's Bridal Boutique. I actually bought my wedding dress there in 1985 at Nancy's Bridal Boutique. And this is Herberger's Wedding Makers for a Beautiful Beginning. Like, you could cut out just words or just the picture, or you could put a photo in right here, or use the edge as a photo frame. I mean, these are just, they're just so cool. This is from Life magazine, and this is Jack and Jackie Kennedy. Come on, this is John F. Kennedy and Jackie Onassis, and this is their wedding photo at the Hammersmith farm. Look at this. Is this not sweet? Look how young. Look how beautiful. And a German card that has bride on it somewhere. Or no, this is the one that said I shall be, or I was asked. So this is new. This is not old. These, well, I mean, relatively new. This is 2008, so I guess it is kind of old. But they're rub-ons. I'm not going to guarantee that they work because, again, they're 2008. I do use them though, and so some of my rub-ons work, but I'm going to toss it in the kit because it has like beautiful you, those eyes, wonderful love, stunning, you are mine, 100% pure happiness, and yeah. For the bridegroom, the bride and the groom, little card from, it's a Hallmark card. Doesn't say what year, but that's probably in the 80s, that color. I have this gorgeous wedding dress pattern, and I do not know if all the pieces are there. It doesn't appear, well, it doesn't, maybe it has been cut out, so it may have been used. I haven't really checked it. This is from 1972. I put in some, these are book plates from a book that I got in Australia, but I just thought the colors were pretty with the white flowers. And here is one of those really cool folding flashcards, and it had bride on it. I don't like broke, so you might want to, but you are kind of broke coming in out of the wedding and buying a new house, so I don't know. No, you can cut that out or whatever, cover it over. This is a French, tiny little French to English dictionary. This is, says bride down there, or bridal. This is from Ken and Barbie coloring book, A Happy Pair. Look how cute. Let's see, what else do I have? A little thinking of you tag. These are some wine labels. These are some pieces of wrapping paper. Look at this. Okay, so there's wedding bells for the bride-to-be, and then look at this one. Oh my gosh, it is so cute. Look at them. Aren't they cute with this little top hat? And then it's got a boot hanging off the end. Oh my gosh, with the horn on it. This, I thought this was, I didn't have very much of this at all, so, but I'm including it. Okay, who doesn't remember these? If you were around in the 80s, 90s, these geese, what they would decorate them in everything. I don't know where the this is actually 2006, so they were still around 2006, but anyway, I had to put them in there for the bride and the groom. Oh my gosh, they're too funny. I don't have the pattern, I just have the envelope. There's a sample. This came this way. I don't know what it was from. However, I'm putting it in there just because, even just like that is really cute. You could put it down and make it a pocket if you wanted to, but there's yeah, there's a little bit on there. These are from my 1960s pattern counter book of this wedding dress, beautiful. And then these little bridesmaids girls. So I cut them out, but I left you room to do what you needed to do with them. And I did have to fold them because in order to get them in the kit, like I say, larger items will need to be folded. I don't usually include a lot of scrapbook paper in my kits. I try to keep it mainly antique and vintage. However, I did have, this is like really super heavy card stock weight. And I just thought this was so gorgeous and went perfectly with kind of the theme and everything. I had to include it. These are like, you punch them out, die cuts, and then this is card stock. And I guess these are mats, but you could actually use this as a cover because it's very thick. So you'll get 3 of those. And then this was an article, and I went ahead and just cut out the whole article in case you wanted to read it, from 1960s Good Housekeeping, and it's on what is a husband and what is a wife. Thought you would enjoy that article. And also on insurance for young marrieds, how much and which kind. And here is some, this is from a decorator swatch book, so there will be paper and holes on them. So I did include 3 of these in this kit. This is a really big kit, let me tell you. Okay, so I did 3 of those. I just kept finding stuff. I probably should have broken it up and did 2 kits, but that's okay. This is an old, look how pretty, sheet music. And I'm terrible with Roman numerals, so I'm gonna say that's like 19, I don't even know what's 50, 66, 1966. Anyway, Whispering Hearts. And again, this I will have to fold, it's really large. Okay, this is just some really nice writing paper. It actually has like lines going through it. That's kind of cool. An article about Beautiful Bride. These are from a reproduction Sears and Roebuck book that I have. And so I just put in this for the wedding rings. It is, I think the book's like from 1970s, late 70s, early 80s. And I just thought this would make a really cool background. Here's 3 pieces of wallpaper from my 1956 wallpaper book. I just cut down some whites that have a little green and pink tinge to them, so I thought those were kind of neat to add in. And then last but not least, I have a Barbie comic book and what to wear to a wedding. Oh my goodness, can you imagine showing up in this to a wedding? Yeah, okay, enough said. And then here she is. Oh my goodness, Barbie's getting married. And so this is my wedding kit that I'm putting in the shop. And I hope that you will put my shop under your favorites so that you can receive all the updates from when I list something. It'll actually send you notifications. My kits do sell out relatively quickly. I just opened up the shop and I'm super excited about it. I've been wanting to do it for years and I didn't know what I was gonna put in it. And then everybody kept asking me when I craft, like, oh, where do you get this and where do you get that? And I just have like tons and tons to pick from. So I decided that I was going to add some to my shop and share, you know, all this yummy vintage goodness. Okay, so stay tuned for the next kit. Okay, I have been wanting to do this kit for such a long time. And this is my baker's homemaker, but really for baking. If you like to bake, this is your kit. Or if you want to like do a book for your grandmother's recipes or something like that, this is your kit. I'm telling you, I have packed this kit. This is awesome. Okay, so in fact, it was really hard for me to give this up because when I put it together, I'm like, I want to keep this one. Alrighty, because it's all like one of a kind items basically, and I love the colorway, the pinks and the reds and the strawberries, and it's just so much fun. Okay, so let me get started. I don't even know where to start with this, but I'm gonna start with this crazy photo. I don't know whose kitchen this is, but I had this photo of this random stove. So evidently this person got some new appliances because they were photos of their appliances. So here's an oven for the baker, and look at the little rooster in the corner. And you know, this was back in the day where they had all your appliances were like on 4 walls, and you know, maybe your table was in the center of the kitchen, and it didn't have a whole lot of counters or cabinet space. But yeah, so this is what kind of started it. And then I had this, which I've been wanting to use for myself actually, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in here because when I saw her red, green, and pink apron on, I'm like, this is the perfect one. And she's sitting here reading a cookbook. And even if you don't want to use this for this, you could, he's opening up a bottle of pop or, you know, probably beer while he's barbecuing. And this, I want to say this has to be from the 60s because of the early 60s, because of the colors and the graphics. Let me see, simplicity, yeah, so this is, it's probably in on this paper because it is copywritten. But anyway, so I am including this. I don't know if the patterns have been used. I can't tell if it's been cut out or if all the pieces are there, but I'm including it anyway. And then I've got some notepad. Sorry, that's my dog. He's eating his dinner. And, and I have to do this. This is a notepad with little strawberries. It's the red, the pink, and the green. This is Bar Basics, but I just love it. It has a fondue pot, a red fondue pot, and then it has the mixer and the blender and the deep fryer. So I'm putting this in there, and I believe this had bake on it. If I'm not, yeah, bake. This is a German word card, like flashcard. I'm putting in this English to French for glaze, like, you know, you could glaze a cake or a cookie. And then I'm putting in this adorable, I kicked in some blue because there were a few items, like my vintage wallpaper that had blue, and this children's book had some blue in it. So I did add a little bit of blue in here also, but I just love this. It's party time. Don't you remember getting these? I remember squeezing them out and just eating the icing right out of it. And then your tongue would be like all red if it was red or whatever. Oh my goodness, the dye in those. Oh, okay. Moving right along. This was some kind of game, I guess. I don't know. I got these in Australia, and it had, but it had peaches. And then I used my jar punch, and I punched out a couple of little jars. This is applesauce cake, which sounds phenomenal. And then I'm putting in a whole pack of old recipe card dividers. These are new in package. They've never been used, and so these are perfect. And even if you can put them in a Rolodex, that would be amazing for all of you Bible journalers who use Rolodexes. This is a Spanish flashcard that says kitchen or cook. Okay, I got a bunch of these. This is not mine. It's from the state of Pennsylvania, Westmoreland County Fair, and somebody won. Her name was Mrs. Pat Conrad in 1965, won a $1 prize for her bread and butter pickles. So she won 3rd place, which was $1. This probably cost more than $1 back then. So anyway, I'm putting that in. I just thought that was the funniest thing. So it's not really baking, but you know, even if you put it in there, it just really just makes a cute little bookmark or whatever. Okay, sorry, I just get tickled. Okay, this is a little pies ad. This has muffin, and speaking of muffin, I put in this mimeographed Hazel's muffin, makes 80 muffins. Oh my goodness, this must have a huge amount. I just saw that. Anyway, so muffins and muffins, Hazel's muffin. This has a huge amount of ingredients. It has 5 cups of flour, 2 cups of all-bran cereal. So you batch bakers who want to make your muffins, this is really good. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Okay, this is the scent. This is what kind of started it too, is look how cute. This came out of Life magazine. This is like a day in the life of this little family. And I just love how she's reading out of the cookbook. She's using the little hand mixer. This little girl just can't wait for them to look away so she can put her finger in there and take a lick out of the bowl. And then I guess they're making waffles this morning because they've got the little waffle maker there. And yeah, so anyway, I'm putting that in there. I don't know what's on the other side. Okay, this came out of a children's reader, and it's a cake. So they went to the store and they got a big cake, and Judy put the cake into a basket and on her bicycle. Anyway, I just thought that was really pretty. This is an ad for, I believe, Jell-O. Let's see. Oh no, for a cream pie that goes in a refrigerator. So it's a refrigerator ad, an aqua refrigerator ad. Anyway. And then a blank card that says specialty of the house. This page that has like toppings and torts and recipe book page comments. So there is a little bit of yellow because I had this. This is an old can label. It's new, old and new. So anyway, I put that in there, and then this has a little bit of yellow, this wrapping wallpaper from the 1950s. This is wallpaper from the 1950 book that I have. And of course I had to put in this because of the cute little sweet aprons. This came out of, I think it's called Sugar and Spice Cookbook, but I just love that she's using her sifter over there doing the flour, and then the preheated oven for all you bakers. This was in the back of my my pattern counter book, but you know, that's that colorway that I've been using. And this says plate or plum. You could use either one of those, or grin when your family's happy that you've made dinner that night. Here is a little precious moments. Look how cute she's baking, pulling something out of her little oven. Here is, you can see these on like a dining room chair, right? This is a little decorator fabric piece. And like I said in previous kits, they do have some paper on the back, but it's perfectly usable for collage or whatever. And then I have, for last but not least, a little piece of wrapping paper that has some chocolates and that on little chocolate covered strawberries. So I want to talk about what to expect when you order something from my shop. These kits are going to be packed as best I can, as tightly as I can. There may be some shifting in the packaging. I'm not really sure. I'll have a label where you can reach me on the back, my YouTube, my Etsy, my Instagram. And then, but this is how they're gonna come packaged like this. And then what I do is I then take it and I place it in these vintage sheet envelopes. I just whipped some of these up so they still have threads. Sorry. Okay, but they'll go inside here. And then I have some antique, this is actually antique seam binding. This is not newer. It has a different texture to it. It's actually very, very lovely. And I'm gonna do a mix of, I don't have a whole lot of the pink, but there'll be some kind of mix, or maybe one, depending on how big the package is. And then it'll be wrapped nice in a bow and will come with a little tag saying thank you. And so you'll either get one that looks like this. I have several different vintage sheet envelopes. In fact, if you order a fall or a boho one, you will be receiving actually this one, which I'm going to be stitching up before. These will all be stitched up. But these are new, and then they were new in the package, they were vintage, and then I washed them like in super, super hot water and used like really nice detergent, and they smell great. So yeah. So anyway, so for the fall and the boho album kits, you'll be getting these, and any other ones you'll be receiving this one, or I have another really cool retro print also. But yeah, so that's what you'll expect that from my kits, and they're also then shipped in. They come priority, and they get shipped in one of these, and it's the flat rate envelope. Now, you don't pay for shipping. The shipping is included in the cost of the kit. And give me between 1 to 3 business days to get to the post office, like to pack it, pack it up, do the label, write to you and all that stuff. Go to the post office, get the tracking number, and then let you know that it has been shipped. So 1 to 3 business days. And of course, if you get me on a weekend, then it would be either the Friday or the Monday that I would be mailing out, depending on when you order it. So I really appreciate your business. I'm so excited about just sharing all these vintage goodies that I have collected over the years. I appreciate your business, and I will be back. I want to do some journal with me's after I get all these kits listed, and I'll be back with another video of a whole nother set.